Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in. I'm at a beautiful venue today. For those who are familiar with North Mainland, this is obviously Horseshoe Bay. Today's topic, I want to talk about crime and how that's becoming prevalent in certain cities across Canada and what we need to do to counter those. As you guys know, this channel is to focus on solutions and not to spark light about more problematic things. Rather, we want to focus on solutions. So focusing on solutions, the number one thing related to crime, we see a lot of different types of crimes such as extortion, which we were not accustomed to in Canada, especially in major cities like Toronto and Vancouver, and perhaps even possibly Calgary and Edmonton. I'm not sure about those two, but definitely Vancouver and Toronto are having an issue with these things. So the main thing I want to talk about today's things first is, once again, we need to understand the cultures of different countries and the people that we're letting into this country. We need to travel as Canadians. We need to go to all parts of the world where possible, especially the people who are in power, especially the people who are making decisions on behalf of Canadians, for our safety and security. We need to understand that in different parts of the world, police is not respected. Police sometimes is corrupted. You can pay the police, and there's a lack of respect for authority in certain parts of the world. So if that is the case, then when you're bringing in people from those parts of the world and you're letting them into Canada, where we have somewhat of an honor policy, where we have a policy where I would say, trust the people, or we used to trust the people around us, and anybody coming into your house or shop or that kind of a thing. Generally speaking, that was the norm, the honor policy, so to say. That is something that doesn't exist in the countries that we have recently let the people in from. So when that is the case, then you need to have deterrence. You need to have strong criminal authority enforcing rules, and you need to show up prevalence or authority. You need to show visibility as a police or as the authority. So the first thing I would want to start with is deterrence. We need to make sure we have presence of police, and the police is respected, and the police needs to do a better job of being visible. Meaning, I see a lot of traffic violations when I'm driving across Lower Mainland, and if sometimes I see a cop car on the other side of the road, and if simply they just put on a flashing light or blinker, so to say, that would deter that person and scare that person. Because you see, a lot of the people who are committing these types of crimes, they are actually scared of the police. That might be because of their temporary status or whatever type of status there is, but generally people are scared of the police and those lights that flash behind them or around them. And by simply picking up on small crimes, the police can send a message that we're watching, we are aware what types of things are happening, and basically that would act as a deterrence. More so, I would say that citizens and residents of Canada alike, there's no difference in this, what I'm about to say. When they report crime and they are taking videos of people performing certain types of criminal actions, the government should take quick action, fast action, because to me, delayed justice is denied justice, and that gives also a sense of security or safety to actually the criminal rather than the person who has been harmed. So we need to do a better job of making sure that our deterrence is up at speed and we are deterring crime. A good example of that is if anybody has gone to countries like the United Arab Emirates or Qatar or those types of countries, they also bring in 200 different nationalities into their country. They also have a lot of migrant workers. They also have a lot of diversity, so to say, in their culture in terms of the residents. But what you see is, because the crime is so heavily controlled by the police, that you don't have foreign nationals harming the residents or the citizens, or for that matter, even each other. Because what they're doing is they're doing a good job of making sure that the people who are coming into the country, they're screened. Even if they're inside the country, there is, quite frankly, heavy surveillance, whether that's through cameras, whether that's through undercover, whether that's through the speeding cameras or other types of police presence that they have. They also use digital means where possible to make sure that crimes are recorded and executed. And the main thing they do is they have a very quick justice system, which if anybody's convicted of a crime, they are either deported or punished or both immediately. And that acts as a very strong deterrence. For anybody who's been to Dubai, for that matter, they would probably tell you, especially women walking on the street at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. at night, it's not a problem. Doesn't matter which part of Dubai, quite frankly, you go to. So that's the case for United Arab Emirates, and certainly other countries like Qatar and Saudi Arabia, and I'm sure there's other countries in the world which do a good job. But these are places I have personally been that I can speak for, especially United Arab Emirates. Now, people might say, "Oh, they do other things that are not according to Canadian laws and all that kind of stuff," but we're not talking about a perfect society either, United Arab Emirates. Neither are we a perfect society in Canada. But we can certainly take good practices from countries where we have similarities in terms of the people we're letting in and how those countries are enforcing the law within the constraints of our laws. But certainly, I'm sure most Canadians would agree that if we have a stronger deterrence in our country, that would help to deter crime and to ensure that we don't have a prevalence of crime. I'll talk about another video in terms of delayed justice. I think today's topic more is about deterrence, and I hope you guys like the content. And I think we need to help our police. We need to send in videos, and the government needs to take action on if they see crime happening. Citizens need to feel like they're residents. I don't want to say citizens, because obviously anybody who's being impacted in Canada by crime, it doesn't matter if you're a citizen or a resident, it's the same thing. But basically those residents concerns should be acknowledged, and the justice system should work faster to enforce the law so that criminals don't get away with these types of things. So thank you for tuning in. I'll make newer videos sooner rather than later from beautiful venues such as the one around me, and I thank you for tuning in. Take care. Bye.